Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and for the final time we're going into the Eldraine courtside Brawl for the fourth and final deck, so if you don't like the Brawl content, it's coming to an end, but if you love it, hopefully we'll come back with some Brawl content, maybe when M20 comes out, if they're going to release it on time. Hopefully they do. I can't see why not, honestly. The game seems to be polished enough for Commander anyway, so hopefully we can get there. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to be playing Alayla Artful Provocateur. Sorry, I can never say that word right. I don't know why. 1 and Esper colours for a 2/3 with Flying, Death Touch, Lifelink. Other creatures you control with Flying get +1/+0, and whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, make a 1/1. Technically a 2/1 when good old Alayla's out. Blue Faerie token with Flying, so pretty good. The idea is that we're going to be spamming artifacts and enchantments once Alayla comes down. There's a little bit of a Voltron aspect to Alayla as well, since we do have a little bit of equipment we can put on her, but also all that glitters, the finest of little nods towards Shrek. Throne of Eldraine. If you don't have a Shrek card, I'm going to be upset. But yes, you can end up making Alayla pretty huge. No commander damage, though, in Brawl, so we're just going to be doing the natural 25, maybe, with Alayla. But she's definitely, I think, the best of the commanders in terms of at least just the deck structure. She does have some removal, which is, in the case of Frogify, very, very powerful. 2 mana for an enchantment that you can stick on their commander, and it loses all abilities and becomes a 1/1 with no abilities whatsoever, so no flying. So basically, your creatures will never block their 1/1 commander, and their 1/1 commander will never do anything. And if you think about all the commanders, they're kind of the build around for the deck. So if you draw Frogify and attach it to their commander, you pretty much nerf the crap out of their deck. We also have plenty of board wipes. Got Kai's Wrath, Massacre Girl, a bit of indestructibility with Saphara, that's got me once before. And other than that, a couple of little mana rocks and a couple of eggs, things like that. It pretty much speaks for itself. It's a blue-white Flyers deck with a little bit of black removal in it. That's pretty much all you need to know. So without further ado, let's get into the gameplay and check this one out. I imagine there's going to be a fair few mirror matches, because I believe most people would agree this is probably the best deck. I would agree it's the most competitive deck, but it's not the most fun. I think the equipment one's the most fun, personally. With a little bit of tweaking and improvements, it could actually be good. But, you know, let's get into the gameplay anyway. Alright, we're in, and we've got decent mana. Winged Words, and a little bit of removal. Lord Mage's Binding's pretty good on their commander. We're up against Corvold, the Fey-Cursed King, so 4/4 Jund colours, becomes a 5/5 pretty much when it enters the battlefield, and draws cards, gets thick, and wins the game. So if we just lock it out, then it won't be doing any sacrificing, won't be growing, won't be attacking, won't be blocking. Corvold gets a little bit in trouble when that kind of thing happens, because we're not really killing his walker, so he needs like sacrifice effects to kill his own creatures at that point, which the deck definitely does have. There's quite a fair few sacrifice effects in there, but we'll see. So I'm hoping that our slow hand is made up for by our choice of removal to get rid of Corvold at least twice, and Smothering Tithe as well is reasonably good. It's pretty good with All That Glitters, which gives you +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment in play, things like that. We can do the Witching Well and sort out our draws. I do need a 4th land, but I don't necessarily need it now. I do really want some early game plays though, so let's go Witching Well. Excuse me. So do I want these planes? I definitely don't want both, although they do look very pretty, and I like them both. You're gonna make me choose which one's the nice one. This kind of looks like my backyard, but not quite. Alright, let's not keep either. We've got the Winged Words if I need the land. I'd hate to keep even one of these lands and draw an extra one, so yeah, let's just rely on the Winged Words, I guess, for the guaranteed. No, I don't actually live out in that much of a countryside, but that's kind of like the backwoods of my town, you could say. But yes, I do live in a little bit of a bustling little town on the outskirts of a bustling little city. That's all the information I'm going to give you on that one, because I don't really want poo in my letterbox, let's put it that way. What is our opponent doing? Golden Egg. Alright, that gives them Corvold Sacrifice Fodder. Gotcha. And we did draw the land we were fearing we might draw. So I'm just going to play that one. Pass the turn. Grab a white source, I guess. Command Tower is all colours of our commander. So we already have every colour we need. So basically I just want all the basics of each colour then. So we've got the island, swamp, and then this will be the plains. Should be pretty good. Likelihood is that we might want a Law Mage's Binding, I suppose, so the white mana works there as well. Krenko. You need dealing with, so I guess you're getting the binding. So grab our planes. Very nice Eldraine art, actually. I think this is one of the few sets where I could say that I actually quite like almost every piece of artwork that's in this set. So that's nice. Yeah, I definitely want to, like, not deal with Krenko. We can flash this in, though, I suppose, so we don't have to do it just yet. But we definitely want to do it, so let's just pretend we've got something we don't. If our opponent knows the structure of our deck, then they probably know what we've got, but there's not much they can do about this, per se. But I'd rather they go to combat first and then attach it, just in case they've got other options. So, yeah, let's Law Mage's Binding the Krenko. Angelic Exaltation. Right, well, we are just going to go down and get a Layla going. Layla's going to have a field day with this hand. So we could do Angelic Exaltation whenever a creature you control attacks alone, which we'll do our Layla, because she is pretty much keyword soup. We can actually give it +X, where X is the number of creatures you control, so we can get some power out of our summoning sick creatures if we want to go that route. Okay, they got the Dreadhorde Invasion, so they can start growing the Woodland Champion by a counter, because this is not going to make more 1/1s, it's only going to make the singular one. And hopefully we'll just let them keep that. Alright, so we drew a Guild Globe, which could give me something to do here. Honestly, I do have a fair amount that I could do, because if I go Guild Globe, I actually make a 1/1, which is a point on the Convoke for Conclave Tribunal. So I could play my Swamp, tap down this Faerie. Maybe if that's what we want to do anyway. We want to see what we're drawing first, because you just never know if the card you draw off the top, which isn't that good, could be good. So do I want to take care of the Woodland Champion? I don't think I really do. It's only going to be a 3/3. I'm fine with that. Let's just go with the Winged Words, I guess. And see what we can do here. Draw 2 cards. All That Glitters is a card that I would love to put onto my Layla, but not right now. Yeah, I kind of want to save the Tribunal for Corvold. I think that's going to be really important if we can make sure that Corvold just doesn't grow big enough for it to matter. So they make a token, so Woodland Champion goes up by 1. But it's only a 3/3, so we're really not that bothered. We do want to dodge sacrifice effects, because they do have 2 really good targets right now for sacrifice. So I'll play Crafter. We've got a little bit of defense from that. They're going to have to make us sacrifice way more than that. It's another reason why I think a Layla is kind of on an unfair advantage against the other starter decks, because she makes 1/1s constantly by just playing the deck. And they've given Corvold, as far as removal's concerned, a lot of sacrifice effects. But this deck just has so much fodder. And then the equipment one has so many crappy little creatures, and Sir Gwyn is the only one that really matters, so as long as you keep that around, the sacrifice isn't that bad. I don't know. There's just clearly a better way to do the removal for this deck, and I think they've maybe handicapped it a little bit by doing that. I'm not sure. But Alayla seems to be reasonably well constructed. I honestly don't know if there's many cards I would cut from this. I guess there's the 4-mana little owl thing. Not too big on that card. Obviously triggers Alayla and it's a flyer and that's cool and all, but I don't know. I don't know if the ability is enough to justify it. But that will be for another time, when hopefully we've got our hands on Brawl ourselves. Alright, so how do we want to go about this? We could do All That Glitters, which will give us +3/+3 on the Alayla. And then we've got the 4 mana. We could do Angelic Exaltation for another +3/+3. This would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage on the Alayla. Pretty much out of Corvold range until the end of time with some sacrifice protection. I think that might be the route that we take. Having Evolution Sage out is not ideal, of course, but I don't know if it's going to be that big of a problem, especially since Alayla does have lifelink. So, yeah, I just don't think we're in any trouble whatsoever unless they find some actual factual targeted removal. Let's get Angelic Exaltation out. +1/+1 for that, and then let's get in with some damage. You do not have Vigilance. So, yeah. If you had Vigilance, I might consider tribunaling maybe the Evolution Sage, but I'm not sure that's entirely necessary. Okay, so Dreadhorde Invasion pumps up the Dork. A land will do it again. So, we're at 31. I don't think the damage that they're outputting currently on the board really makes too much of a difference. I think the biggest removal spell that they have is either Find Finality, which Alayla survives, and All That Glitters does not actually get reduced power-wise for using that card, since these are the ones that are pumping her up right now. And then there's also the Sacrifice 3 as well. They do have Bake Into a Pie. That's, I think, the only single target removal they've got. And that's double black, which they can make work right now, but I feel like they would have just turbo slammed it if they had it. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. Keeper of Fables. Okay. That's going to allow them to draw some cards here if they attack him with all. I think I might block the Evolution Sage just to get rid of the proliferation. Don't really ideally want that happening, but the rest of the damage is completely fine. I'm not going to be able to stop the Keeper from triggering either, so... Because you're an elf. You're a non-human. Alright, so I could do Smothering Tithe, which would pump Alayla up, and then if they don't actually start paying to give me treasure tokens, then they're going to lose out on the extra power that Alayla ends up getting from those as well. So let's go Smothering Tithe, make a 2/1, turn her into an 8/9, and I guess we're just going to swing in with just Alayla, since we get the Exalted effect, essentially. There's not much reason, really, to attack him for the other two, although I guess it kind of works out. I don't know. I kind of like the life. The life and then the Convoke. Because she gets +3/+3 if I don't attack him with any of these, and if I attack him with 1, or even 2, it's alright, I suppose. It's alright. I think I prefer to just have more blockers, to be honest. So yeah, let's just 12 you. Could I have gotten lethal? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No. Would have worked out just the same, basically. Do I even tribunal anything? I don't know if I do. I just don't care about what my opponent's got here. And Dreadhorde Invasion actually kills them. Forgot about that trigger. Yeah, okay then. That worked out. That was just fine. Alright. I got tired of trying to do the math, so I smoked. Smorking is how we roll on this channel. We just smoke. You know, math is for blockers, after all, and they didn't have any, so they didn't need to do the math. Neither did I, because there was no blockers to concern myself with, so, you know. Sick. Let's go for another game. Alright then, we've got... this is alright, right? It's alright, right? I think it is. Yeah, let's keep it. Got Bag of Holding, which we can loot with. We got Golden Egg, which we can draw with. We are on track to cast a Layla on 4. What? Shambling Suit. I don't know if I've seen this one. 3 mana, power equal to the number of artifacts or enchantments you control. Okay. Basic fodder, I guess. There's nothing too exciting. Let's also lead off with our command tower. Showing off. I guess we'll play Bag of Holding. We're not really going to be activating it, though, is the thing. So maybe I just want to play it after a Layla. I'm just going to be golden egging next turn, and then probably even winged wordsing or shambling suiting the turn after. I just don't see myself using this until after a Layla comes down anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it in hand for a 2-1. Okay. So, Island and Golden Egg. Let's draw a card. We do still want to, of course, cycle through the deck wherever possible. And Chemist's Insight. Okay. Somebody actually told me that some of these cards, when I was mentioning, like, Shivan Dragon was in the equipment deck for no literal reason whatsoever, somebody did mention that some of the cards were actually stand-ins because they didn't have the full card pool on Arena yet, so it's possible that this Chemist's Insight is actually going to be a Throne of Eldraine themed card draw spell. I'm not entirely sure on the validity of that particular piece of information though, but, you know, take it for what it is. Let's just go with... Do we want to go Winged Words? We're going to go 6. We're just going to end up putting too much out. Let's just do Shambling Suit. Alright. So our opponent, for the record, is playing Sir Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale, so very much a Voltron-styled commander. You want to get as much equipment out as possible so that you can just make Sir Gwyn huge, massive. And Sky Knight Vanguard is a pretty good card, but ain't as good as a Layla. Let's get a Layla down and swing for 2. Sky Knight Vanguard does make 1/1s when they are when it attacks, tapped and attacking. If they do that, I do not really want to block because they do have Response Resurgence. They also have Integrity. What's the other one? The other Boros one. And they also have that as well. I would like Obnixilus's Cruelty to resolve. What am I supposed to even do? Select the replacement effect to apply. I would like the replacement effect of my Planeswalker still being my Planeswalker to the command zone with you. Alright, they dealt with the Layla. You got me. Now they can get in with the Vanguard, which only makes a 1/1 that is tapped. But it is a Knight attacking, so Knight's Charge also triggers, and they're actually 1 mana off of Sir Gwyn, which is not irrelevant, though they don't have any other artifacts set up yet for Sir Gwyn to make too much of a difference. Blood-Soaked Altar, can't cast that. So, Arcanist Owl. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, you reveal an artifact or enchantment from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I mean, it's a card. I don't know if it's a good card. I think we'll just go with the Dimir Guildgate, or we'll draw cards first, I guess, and then play Dimir Guildgate. I suppose I could even do End-Step Chemisters, just so I can hold open information here. Yeah, sure, why not? Can't really do any blocking that matters, so let's just get in with the Shambling Suit. And there's our opponent's response. I'm glad to get that out of the way now. Better to have that happen to you than Resurgence being castable, which I've done it about 2 or 3 times for a victory, actually. Resurgence is pretty sick when you've got a Vigilant Menacing 15/15 on Sir Gwyn. I just wish it had, like, Trample or, you know, Lifelink. One of those equipments would be really nice in a deck like this, but it's just not there. Alright, so they get a little bit of a drain, and they make a 1/1. We're just going to Chemisters, because I don't think they're going to be able to do anything. Mormage is Binding. That's pretty good. And let's get down a Layla. And hopefully from here, this is where we stabilize. The opponent's deck does struggle a little bit if they don't have the equipment to draw cards on Sir Gwyn. Because this actually does give you a fair bit of card draw in the right situation. But without it, you end up getting into this kind of situation from personal experience where you're just kind of on your top decks and your opponent isn't. And Layla certainly does not struggle in that department. We're going to let that happen. Yep. No blocks there. No worries there. Takes 6. We do have Lifelink, so we're probably going to be able to gain it all back at some point. So what we want to do is we want to make lots and lots of blockers, because that's how this deck loses our opponents, is that they don't really get to do anything. So, let's play Bag of Holding. I guess we could lead off with Winged Words first. Winged Words, draw 2 cards. It's not going to get me any fairies, but I can still do something. Let's get Emergent Sun tapped down as well, since we got this Arcanist's Owl, and I need blue and white mana available. So we can do Winged Words. Yeah. Let's just get the Arcanist's Owl down. Makes a 3-3, makes a 2-1. And gets us a banner. That's alright, I suppose. Then we can play a Swamp, play Bag of Holding. Could even go with a Conclave Tribunal here as well, which would make it 2-1 to block the Vanguard, and we can get rid of Fireborn Knight or something like that. But I've got a chump there. I don't know. They're at 6 mana now, so I kind of want to just get rid of Sir Gwyn. But I do have Law Mage's Binding, which would probably be better. Yeah, let's go with the Tribunal on the Fireborn Knight. Last thing I want is that getting thick. So let's get rid of that. There's also an argument for the Knight's Charge as well, since this does have a recursion effect, but I don't imagine we're going to be killing many of their creatures if we can help it. Icon of Ancestry. They have 2 knights and 2 soldiers here. The knight tribal theme is in their deck, but honestly, if the Vanguard gets to do some work, then you could actually justify the soldier side. There's also Tajik in here, who is also a soldier. Should be noted. Alright, so they're now a 2-3, which is unfortunate. So I'm just going to block the Knight of the Ebon Legion, who has an activation for +3/+3. Seems real bad to let that happen. So yeah, I'm going to take 5 here. Opponent has an activation on Icon to tap out. We really want to see All That Glitters, or even Angelic Exaltation. Both of those will get us back into this game. Shimmer Dragon. Okay. So we can do the banner, which is effectively 2 mana. Can pump up all of our blue creatures by 1, which is an extra point of life on a Layla. Extra blocker as well. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do banner, name blue. Now we got some thick, tasty boys. And we can do 1, 2... If I play an untapped land, I've got Law Mage's Binding and Prism Realm. So that's 2 extra blockers and locking 2 cards out of the game as well, which is probably just reasonable. Kind of want to save one for Sir Gwyn, but I actually can play the Law Mage's Binding with Flash, so there's no rush there. This adds 1 mana of any colour, right? 1 mana of the chosen colour. Alright. Ah, that's the linchpin, actually. We don't have the double white. Oh, we do have Golden Egg, though. We can filter mana that way. Yeah, okay, then. We actually can cast both. So, Law Mage's Prism Realm, sorry. Get a Scry, get a Lockdown. Let's lock down... I think the Knight of the Ebon Legion. It's got the biggest booty. Want to get rid of that booty. And yeah, let's just take some removal. And yeah, as you can see, we can still cast the Law Mage's Binding, filtering through the Golden Egg. And let's get swinging in. We definitely want to swing in for 3 here. And I think I just want to leave my fodder back to make sure that the Vanguard can't get in anymore. My go, they say. Wow. Wow, now it's your go. How about that? Ha! Don't you dare rope. God, can you imagine? Bond of Discipline. Alright, well. Law Mage's Binding. Tap you down. Sacking the Golden Egg for the white mana we need. I actually could have done this... Oh, I could have sequenced that a little bit better. I could have waited till that resolved. And then I would have had an untapped creature, but I don't think it really particularly matters, because my opponent's impatient and they've just left anyway. But yes, I should have let that resolve and then gone for the Law Mage's Binding. Made it an untapped 3-1. Just so I could chump one of the tokens. It wouldn't have made a difference, because I know my opponent's deck and I know that they don't really have anything that they can punish me with there, but still, it is technically the correct play, and you should be doing that. Alright, let's go for another game. Alright, we're in with 2 tap lands and a card draw spell. Oh dear. I mean, we do have a golden egg and a banner, which is a mana rock. Temple of Silence is going to show me, hopefully, an untapped land into that golden egg. You know what? I've talked myself into it. We're playing up against Tulane, Teller of Tales, the bouncer of all things fantastical. We're going to draw a non-land, so let's put that to the bottom, because lands are all that we care about. Good stuff. Alright, so let's go with the golden egg, get a redraw, hope for more lands. I'm RP for all the lands in the world. Thank you very much. Game, you're being very generous today. I don't know why, but thank you. Thanks a lot for being you, deck. Thanks for being you. Paradise Druid for our opponent, and passes. So we could get the Evolving Wilds down to thin. We could also do the Heraldic Banner. Yeah, I think that's how that's spelled and said. That would actually lead us into next turn. We'd have 2 tap lands in our hand, so we wouldn't be able to do like a Layla 1-drop, but that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world anyway. I think we'll just get a Layla down and then we'll do Banner after a Layla's down. So let's just thin the deck with Evolving Wilds. Grab a... doesn't really matter. Just grab a white source, I guess. And pass the turn. Let's just keep our artifacts and enchantments in our hand until after a Layla comes down, because our opponent doesn't really have too much interaction with our board state besides like bouncing and things like that, so not too much trouble there. They do have the 3/2 Crawl Harpooner though, which no doubt is in their hand waiting for me to play my Layla. But we will see. Got a Corridor Monitor. Alright, well, play a Layla. If they do have the removal for a Layla, then we can do Dimir Guildgate Banner, and that'll put us up the 2 mana we need to just cast her again the turn after. Let's see if they can make it happen. They could have Tulane mana here as well. Would be nice to be able to answer him at some point, using like Frogify, Law Mage's Binding, even Mortifies and things like that are not too terrible. We did bottom Massacre Girl, which would be quite effective here, but... yeah, there's Tulane. So let's see who can Commander better. So we can do Banner, give our blues +1/+0. That'll leave us with 3 mana to work with, which allows us to do Animating Faerie or Bag of Holding Corridor Mana. So we can go pretty wide, actually. If we do the Corridor Mana Bag of Holding, I'm happy with that. So let's pump them up. Let's Corridor Monitor. Do it again. I should be doing this post-combat because it gets to untap, but I can actually do that. Does that make a difference? That actually doesn't make a difference. We could play the Dimir Guildgate though, I suppose, with this line. There you go. I get my tap land out of the way. And swing for 3. We've got a pretty decent body on board right now. Opponent's deck, I don't believe, has any board wipes. I think they have Time Wipe, actually. They do have Time Wipe. So that's an option available to them, but as long as we don't like commit too much to the board, it's not really going to be too big of a deal. We can even play the Arcanist Owl, which will trigger a Layla, and also replace itself. So that's the one way that we can add more to the board without actually like committing to it. We can also use the Bring to Life side on Animating Faerie to turn one of these into a 4/4 if we should choose to do so, which I think I'm fine with doing, like on the Golden Egg. Does this choose its colour? No, just makes it a 4/4. Alright, so we can't really get the Banner upside. Ooh, they got the Foreboding Spirit. So each creature that attacks has to pay 2. We've got a Blood-Soaked Altar. So we want to be in a position where we can make a Layla huge, massive. Artifact or enchantment. So basically we want to find All That Glitters or the Exalted card. Can't remember its name. This actually taps me out of blue for All That Glitters, but we do have the Golden Egg, so we can filter the mana that way. Yeah, I guess this is what we're doing. There it is, all that glitters. So we're not going to be able to attack this turn, but we are going to be able to make a pretty thick Alayla. Well, we're not going to be able to attach an attack, actually, which allows me to keep the golden egg around for an extra point on that, so that's not too bad. Think we... Do we swing for 3 here? It's pressure, but it's not necessary pressure. We could just loot. I don't really like Blood-Soaked Altar all that much. It seems a bit crappy. Especially when we've got an all that glitters that makes bigger things than 5/5s. Yeah, I think we're just gonna... We're just gonna Bag of Holding. I'm pretty sure. Get him next turn with the glitters. Never mind, they found removal. And that will probably be the game. Unless we find a board wipe. Able to bounce creatures to fight Alayla over and over and over again. I suppose they can actually. Death Touch is a thing. Command Zone, please. But they can bounce Foreboding Spirit repeatedly. It looks like they've tapped out this time, though, so they're going to be taking a fair chunk of damage. So I'm fine with that. Alright, so just replay Alayla again. Replay Alayla. Pump the squad. And there's no attacks on our mana because they didn't actually bounce the Foreboding Spirit, so we're just going to get in the big hit while we can. Put them to 7, and then all that glitters is going to be lethal. Yeah, they needed Time Wipe. Actually forgot about the Death Touch interaction there, so that's why I was a little bit upset about that, but you know. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video, and it's going to do it for the Brawl content for quite some time. Hopefully with Throne of Eldraine they actually release it with the rest of the set, but there's no real confirmation of that just yet. The game feels like it's in the position where it actually could release with Throne. Hopefully it does, and we can get right back onto that. But yeah, my verdict of these decks is that some of them actually include cards that I wouldn't necessarily include myself. One that I mentioned in today's video, I believe, that Shivan Dragon is in the Surgwin deck. It makes no logical sense, but somebody did tell me that maybe some of these cards are actually stand-in for other Throne of Eldraine cards that haven't actually been inputted into the game just yet. Not sure on the validity of that, but it would make sense, I suppose. But yeah, which one's my favourite? It's probably going to have to be the Night's Charge deck. I honestly like the idea of a Voltron commander, just being able to suit up one dude and make him really huge over and over again. Wild Bounty would have been... It was my most anticipated commander, was Tulane, but honestly, I had no luck with him. Everybody said he was a lot better than I was having my games with, which, you know what? I'll put my hands up and say I am a very unlucky individual when it comes to playing Magic the Gathering, so I'm happy to accept that Tulane just wasn't for me, and I was getting very unlucky, but I couldn't seem to really get off to a good start with this deck. I think it needs maybe some more mana dorks or something like that. For me personally, there's a fair bit I would change. I wouldn't include Parhelion as an example. I think there's an example for that for every single deck, to be honest. There's always one card in each of these that I wouldn't include. In the Faerie Schemes deck, it is the 1/4 that we saw, the latch thing, the corridor monitor, that thing. It's just not doing anything. It is what it is. But yeah, I think Night's Charge is my favourite. I think the best deck is probably the Faerie Schemes or Wild Bounty. I don't know. The Night's Charge, I'm hearing, is the weakest. I had a lot of fun with it, and honestly, probably got the best win rate with it as well. So it is what it is. I guess everybody's experience is different. Everybody's going to disagree with me somehow. So you can't win. So I'm just going to give my opinion and see who enjoys it. But anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. If you did enjoy this content, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe as well for some more Brawl content in the future. I imagine this is going to be a staple of the channel when Brawl is released. But for now, it's going to have to go on a little bit of a hiatus until Wizards includes it in the game. But if you did enjoy it, and you want to subscribe for content like that, it will be weekly content on my channel, no doubt. Tomorrow we will be back with our normal, regular, scheduled content. Best of 3 weekly deck coming tomorrow for you guys, so check out that. Hit the bell icon if you want to get a notification when that goes live. But other than that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.